This is a reaction video to a video that has the link in the description, by journalist Fernando Beteti, who interviews Dr. Cláudia Bernhardt, this about the future of Brazil, and prophesies in this line of the past. We confirm that Brazil has to go forward without iron and without beatings, without war and conflict, but with its own potential, and also without politicians selling Brazil to those who pay them more. Obviously, this is the best for Brazil and any part of the world. But there is one condition: it has to be sustainable, because if it is not sustainable, the Brazilians of today would steal from the Brazilians of tomorrow, and it wouldn't be good and constructive enough. To this day in the history of human beings, in our view, the indigenous peoples of the Amazon forest are the only ones, in the world, who went forward and thrived through their own potential, and this in a sustainable way. But the Brazilians of today do the same thing to the indigenous peoples of the Amazon forest that the supposed developed world, which also no longer exists in the same way, did and does to Brazilians of today. If Brazilians don't look at what the indigenous peoples of the Amazon rainforest did in the past, before Columbus, for them to go forward regardless of everything, Brazilians are not very different from the part of the world that apparently rules, the West. Observation 1. In our view, it is not this or another world that is in charge, but power and/or money, and power and money do not recognize anything other than power and money. Observation 2. In the interview it doesn't say what kind of potential, which Brazil doesn't explore, and that Brazil will have to use and explore, and/or develop, and it also doesn't talk much about the potential of the indigenous peoples, nor about that of agroforests similar to the Amazon forest, this for the indigenous peoples, for Brazilians, or for the world. Despite these observations, we loved the Fernando Beteti video, and Dr. Cláudia, and we learned a lot. It would be easy for them to complete their video, with another video, and either in the description of their current video, or even referring to this reaction video on our channel, in a partnership between the spiritual part and the technical part, related to forests, agroforests and aspects of agriculture and, if possible, even robotics. What today would be able to achieve the same thing that the indigenous peoples achieved more than 500 years ago, would be the growth of agroforests similar to the Amazonian forest. This so since the Amazonian forest with maintained terra-preta produces 100 times more per hectare, even without fertilizers, than any agriculture, with fertilizers. Some or many could think and claim that the Amazon rainforest doesn't even produce food, let alone fuels and raw materials, other than wood. Firstly, the Amazonian forest does produce food, and the Amerindians, who have been consuming these forest foods for thousands of years, have the best heart and brain health in the world, and also a relative absence of degenerative diseases, this including Alzheimer's and dementia. If these agroforests were first enriched with organic material, and next explored in the right way, agroforests like the Amazon rainforest, and lands beyond the Amazon rainforest would produce at least 100 times more than agriculture and any other land uses can produce. Why don't we explore, in the right way, agroforests like the Amazon forest? The sad answer is, because today's human beings have no idea, and that's why we don't have the slightest interest, until now, and also because they have economic interests mainly from other countries that this will never happen and that the current unsustainable situation continues. Obviously this puts to the ground something massive than Fernando Beteti and Dr. Cláudia are claiming has to happen, and even claim that it will happen, this within their vision and confirmed by several supposed prophecies. For Brazil to move forward in this way, it requires observing what the indigenous peoples of the Amazon forest did is something that requires a lot of vision and a lot of spirituality. This is because what the indigenous peoples of the Amazon forest did more than 500 years ago, and was destroyed more than once, and the knowledge involved was consequently lost, and still needs to be adapted to today's technologies, with some of it still in development. I am a forest engineer. I am part of the think tank behind this and other channels, and I have dedicated my entire life to this research and search, which led to a proposal and an action plan that has everything to do with what Fernando Beteti and Dr. Cláudia claim that Brazil needs and has to develop and enjoy. It also has a lot to do with their concerns and proposals, including these in relation to the health of Brazilians and the other 8 billion humans on this planet. The success and eventual failure of the proposal and action plan has a lot to do with the nature of the human being, and that is why I, also, dedicated more than 5 years studying the ancestral markers of all humans. Although the ancestral markers are not sufficiently recognized by consensus, our supposed scientists and science, these ancestral markers, which are parts and aspects of our DNA, point out that the ancestors of the indigenous peoples of the Amazon forest are also the ancestors of all modern humans, just as the Amazon forest is the origin of all 8 billion modern humans today alive on this planet of ours.